Hello, you fuckheads and retards, and welcome to another exciting edition of my show. Today, we're going to change things a little and we're going to talk about Asia. So, this is primarily going to be about living in Asia. And I know what you assholes are thinking. You're saying to yourself, wow, I just got my degree and I can't decide. I want to travel, but I don't know if I should go to South Korea to teach English or China to teach English. I can't make up my mind. Or maybe some of you have had your degree for a while and you just need a change in life. And you're saying to yourself, should I piss off to Seoul or should I piss off to Beijing or Shanghai so I can get my head on straight? Whatever your case may be, more power to you. I've lived in both places for years. More time in South Korea, but I've also lived in China for close to 3 years. So I'm going to tell you my opinion on, between the pros and the cons and the differences and whatnot. First of all, South Korea. When you come to South Korea, get ready because you're not going to be making a lot of money. In fact, wages have gone down here. Even though they're losing teachers, wages keep going down. Most of these institutions, these after-school institutions that hire teachers, they're only paying about 2.4 to actually 2.1 to 2.5. That's what I see when I look at the job advertisements. And that's not a lot of money. In fact, that's just a smidge above Korean minimum wage when you add in the hours. And you do get a free apartment. I got to say that. Your apartment will be free, but you won't be making a lot of money. By Korean standards, you'll be working poor. But they do have good health care. I got to say that. You'll have a free apartment, you'll have good health care, and the money, it's really up to you how frugally you want to live, how much you want to save and whatnot. So that's the thing, is that, you're going to be a member of the working poor if you come to Korea. Conversely, China, it actually pays pretty well. Pays a lot more than Korea if you know what you're doing. And especially if you have credentials. Like if you're an actual teacher or have a state teaching license, you can actually make pretty good money. So I don't know what your educational background is. Let's say you have a degree in economics. All right, so China's going to be a problem if you're just getting out of college because you're going to need 2 years of experience to get their visa, right? So then you're better off going to Korea and working for a couple of years to get that experience. But if you have a state teaching license, let's say you're from Nebraska and you're certified to teach, then you can hit the ground running in China and make good money out of school, right? Okay, Korea. Let's go back to Korea now and talk prices. The other day I took my son to a chicken house, and you get fried chicken at a chicken house here. I call it lawnmower chicken because it's cut up in an odd sort of way, and all the pieces they look kind of mangled, but good enough. It tasted okay. And I got a couple bottles of beer with the meal. And it came to about $30. Yeah, $30. Not terrible, but not cheap. $15 each for some chicken. In China, for that kind of money, you can go and eat Peking duck at a nice restaurant and have a great meal for $30. The prices in China are a lot better. In Korea, a watermelon, believe it or not, will cost you right around $20. In China, you can get a huge watermelon for about $3. See the difference? If you're a drinking man, a bottle of beer in China, a big glass bottle of beer, if you drink domestic beer, it's like 50 cents, 75 cents. Good luck finding that in Korea. You know, so the prices are a lot cheaper, is what I'm basically saying, in China. Let's talk government. Korea is a democracy, sorta. It's a democracy, but there's a camera everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's a camera. There's always this sense of you're being watched. You know, every street corner there's a camera. I don't know why it bothers me. I'm not some criminal or anything like that. But it does. It bothers me for some reason. Everywhere you go, you're being watched. In the elevator, and on the street, everywhere you go. Yeah, it's a democracy, but there's that. So, but you are freer in Korea than you are in China. Korea, you can use stuff like Google, right, with no problem. China, you can't use Google. What you have to do if you decide to move to China is you have to get a VPN. I had ExpressVPN. That's considered like the best one. I think I was paying about $100 a year. And let me tell you, it's not, you can get on the internet with ExpressVPN, get onto Google, but the Chinese government, they know you're doing it, and occasionally they'll shut it down just to say, hey, you're not in charge, we're in charge. It's like they're sending a message. For instance, every anniversary at Tiananmen Square, the internet, the VPNs get completely shut down, right? It's like the Chinese government is making a point to say to you, we know what you're up to. And they do know what you're up to. If you're one of these types who likes to watch porn, it's illegal in China, and they're going to know you're doing it. Now, I don't think they're going to come knock on your door. I don't think they care. What they really care about is that you know that they know. Right? That's the point they're trying to bring across to foreigners. We know what you're doing at all times. So that's one thing you got to keep in mind if you can live like that. Now, they're not going to bother you unless you're making a lot of problems. But they're going to know what you're doing at all times. For instance, and they're more strict. Let's say you come to Korea and you go out and you get dead drunk and you pass out in the street. Now, your employer, I don't know how they're going to handle that, but I've seen foreigners do that, right? You get real drunk. Well, they get real drunk. I'm past that age. I don't really drink, but they get real drunk and they act stupid and they pass out on the streets, or, you know, young people acting stupid. That you can get away with in Korea. China, I'm not so sure. If they see you passed out on the street, maybe they'll have a talk with you one time, but if that's a recurring theme, if you're causing problems, they're gonna deport you. They're not gonna put up, the government will not put up with that. They like, they like harmony, right? No, they don't like conflict. And if you're passed out on the street or acting stupid, there's a good chance you'll get deported. Also in China, you don't use Google or Facebook. You use something called WeChat. And you got to watch everything you say on WeChat because people have been deported. One girl said she gave a pro Dalai Lama kind of thing on WeChat, Free Tibet or something along those lines. And, you know, they knocked on the door, said, hey, get packed up. You're out of the country. You know, so that's the kind of stuff you got to keep in mind in China. You know, you got to watch how you behave. That kind of thing. We're not so much so in Korea. Now, personally, if I were single, I'd go China. because you're going to be at the top end of the pay scale no matter what city you're in. So that's going to give you some social graces, right? They're going to say, wow, there's that foreigner. He must be making a good living. And in Korea, they're going to say, wow, there's that foreigner. He's making minimum wage. So that's one thing I would say. I would definitely go with China. Another thing is the food's better in China, and there's more variety. In these big cities, the food's delicious, and it's affordable. Stay away from the major hotels like the Hilton or something. You don't go to the Hilton to the top floor and order steak and lobster. Then you're going to get crushed. But there are a lot of nice restaurants around, and it tastes great, you know. So there's another reason I'd go for China. Third, Chinese people seem a lot happier. There's a lot of depression in Korea. You know, I don't know what it is about Koreans, but they're just a dour bunch of people. I'm not putting them down. I'm just telling you, right? It's got one of the highest suicide rates in the world. I have no idea why, but so if I were single, I'd definitely go China. Now, if you're one of these guys who's into the K-pop, or one of these ladies who's into the K-pop and the Korean dramas, and that's why you're coming here, then obviously you're going to go to Korea. But I would still live in China and just visit Korea on my vacations, you know? I think that these Chinese cities are very, very built up and beautiful, and they're safe, and as long as you're not as long as you're not going outside and causing any type of problems, getting involved in the government, then they're going to have no problems with you, in my opinion. Anyway, that is my spiel for today. You know, take it for what it's worth. I've been living in Korea for a long, long time. I like Korea. I'm married. My wife is Korean. And I have 2 boys who are dual citizenship with Korea. I have a permanent resident visa in Korea. So, you know, that's one of the reasons I'm here. But single, young, I'm going to China. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later. And if you like this, press subscribe. If you like this, press like. If you want to become a member of my channel, press subscribe. And I wish you all a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.